do what I do.
Don't want to be. You got your own language, your own flags, your own governments, your own resources, your own people, and you brought your black behinds over here. And despite all that FBA black folks have had to go through, we are outpacing you in the belly of the beast. We're only 13% of the population. And if you take the Caribbeans out, that's 1/4. Take the Africans out, that's 1/4 of that 45 million. Of that 45 million, we got 1.7 million, 1,700,000 millionaires in a place that they didn't want us to even be alive. You heard it right, millionaires. And that's just the ones we know about. Meanwhile, you got other nations filled with black people sitting on trillions of dollars worth of minerals and land, and you can't get your damn roads paved. They still pooping in the ground in Ghana. They still, look how they living in Nigeria. And you got all those oil reserves. You can't keep your lights on. You're letting China and France and the IMF rob you, your countries, with contracts you don't read. And you got the nerve to show up to the United States pretending to be experts on black liberation. Sit down, sit yourself down. I almost cussed. And here's another thing. 54 countries in Africa, all these countries in the Caribbean and South America. But when people around the world say black culture, they're not talking about kente cloth. They're not talking about juju and tribal chants. They're talking about foundational black American culture. They're talking about our music, our swagger, our slang, our soul. The entire world copies us, from Tokyo to Paris to Lagos. Y'all don't even celebrate your own damn music until an American rapper samples it. Y'all walking around cosplaying us wearing do-rags and throwing up Wakanda signs and gang signs, talking about gang gang. Trying to dance like you're from Atlanta. But it's nothing but an imitation. Shout out to Hoosie. You don't understand the origin of any of it because you haven't lived it. And let me tell you something else. And this is gonna hurt. The only black people in America telling us we need to unify with our African brothers and sisters are these Pan-African panderers. Y'all know the names. Go ahead and type them in the chat room. These Pan-African panderers. And they are usually fake intellectuals, failed revolutionaries, broke hotel hustlers, okay? And dusty dreadlock manipulators, trying to shame foundational black Americans into linking arms with people who have never stood with us in any real way. They're the same, look, they're the same one, okay? The same one. Same one all the time. Think about it. They tell you that single motherhood is liberation or otherwise the black man's fault. They tell you that these gang members are going to come up and be our warriors. They tell you it's survival. They constantly blaming the white man for every single failure that we have. It's a legitimate strategy. There's no accountability, no solutions, just endless victimhood porn. Now, when I go back to my foundational black American brothers who were fresh out of slavery, they built things, they existed, they did well. And clearly the slavery that we had to deal with and the oppression we had to deal with in 1880 was far worse than what we're dealing with now. But you got these Pan-Africanists who got you looking at pie and sky in Africa to go over there. They're going to have you going over there pooping in a hole right now. There's plenty of black folk that went over to Africa and say, oh, no, I'm ready to get on back to the U.S. And let's get real about something, family. Since they like to lecture us. Why would we want that culture? Foundational black American men are the most involved fathers of any other racial group in the United States. Don't take my word for it. Take it from the CBS News and the CDC. The more than whites, Latinos, and Asians, men. Now contrast that with these Africans. Now I want you to understand something. Have you heard what these African children are saying about their African parents? I want you to hear me. Slapping kids across the face, brutal beatings, public humiliation, guilt trips, emotional blackmail. This is what the African children, this is what the second generation African children are saying about their own parents. They're saying you don't raise them, they say you dominate them. You instill fear, not respect. You teach them submission. You don't discipline them. That's not parenting. That's slave master behavior. And it is passed down and repackaged as tradition. You all even admitted that the African children are expected to serve the parent financially, emotionally, and once they grow up, regardless of whether that parent was abusive or absentee or toxic. And this is why you have no generational wealth, because your children's wealth is not theirs. It's yours in your mind. You leech off of your children and you call it honor. That's not legacy. That's economic vampirism. And you wonder why your kids run off to London and the United States the moment they get a student visa or a green card, because they're trying to escape you. They don't want to carry dead weight of toxic family dynamic that bleeds them dry. And don't get me started about the DV. That's normalized in your communities. It is so rampant, and I mentioned this earlier, it is so rampant that African women in the UK and the US have made it a routine to call police on their husbands, not for criminal acts, but for coming home late. You think we want that as foundational Black Americans? You think we want a culture where the state is called to solve petty disputes because emotional maturity is absent? Let's be honest. Your culture isn't built for survival in America. They would eat you alive. Because you used to be in the majority. You built your customs and your ethics and your social structure in lands where everybody looked like you, where your skin was never a liability, where you didn't have to constantly code switch or decipher dog whistles or survive a system designed to criminalize your very existence. That's not the case here. See, in America, we're surrounded by people who are trained to hate us, okay? And they trained to hate us from birth. We had to develop a culture of resistance, not deference, a culture of innovation, not imitation, a culture of self-sufficiency, not dependency. That's why your culture fails here. It wasn't built for warfare. It was built for homogeny. See, we were built for war. And don't act like you're innocent in those in the colonial project. Your ancestors sold ours for scraps, literally. You gave away warriors, mothers, children, medicine men, and craftsmen to Arabs and Europeans for rum and muskets. You betrayed your own kin because of tribal pride and petty power grabs. And you're still divided. You're still selling out. Shout out to David Johnson. You still can't unite long enough to kick out the French or the Chinese. You helped start the fire, and now you want to teach us how to put it out. No, thank you. And that's why we've created a new name. That foundational Black American name. That's why we're running with that. Because we need to distinguish ourselves from immigrants who do not share our experience or our sacrifice or our struggle. This isn't about skin tone. It's about ethnicity. It's about lineage. It's about who bled on this land. From the cotton fields to the courtrooms, from the plantations to the presidency, we built this country. Every gain you enjoy, every visa, every scholarship, every diversity quota was bought and paid for by our suffering. So don't come over here with ignorance. Don't come over here trying to, here thinking we need to assimilate with you. This is our house. You're just visiting. We don't want your culture. We don't need your approval. And we don't, look, you're not our kin. You're definitely not our kindred spirit. And the sooner you realize that we're not the same, the better you'll be. It is what it is. Now, I hit on something. These Africans and Caribbeans, you're not built for Western world living. As I mentioned earlier, there's a trend, and I'm talking about reports out of the UK, where these people are weaponizing the state against their own men, Nigerian women. Shout out to James Harper. Much like Caribbean women over there, they calling the police on their men over domestic disputes. It's not about safety, it's about control. When the wife calls the police because her husband is late from work, that's not protection, it's manipulation. It's an attempt to impose dominance through fear and institutional power. It's also a dangerous playbook borrowed from white feminists, and it betrays the fragility of African household culture when removed from its homeland context. But see, the thing is, what this points to is a deeper issue. It's a foundational disconnect between African men and African women in the diaspora. See, y'all want to talk about us. I can dig deep. I usually let y'all do whatever you do. I don't get in your business, but you like to get in there. You like to talk about our incarceration rate. Let's talk about your DV rate. How y'all be hitting your women upside the head. How them women over in Africa, some of them don't even know who the daddy is. Highest rate of paternity fraud in the diaspora, aside from Jamaica. I think 70% of the children tested in Jamaica, they ain't even the real daddy. Since y'all want to talk about foundational Black America so much, we're going to talk about you. You calling the police on your man because he late for work. So you got these African men who bring these patriarchal expectations forward in their home countries.
What's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D.
People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. D's Black Man Talk. Pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. And let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Holly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you've been served, gotta notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, Sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Flowbee and cut your own damn hair from now on.